Hi guys, this is Ashley. Thank you for watching today. This is actually part 2 of the Huda Beauty palette series. I have the Sapphire palette here today. You might notice that a little bit of the video is similar to the last one with the ruby. I initially filmed this video as one, but the footage, it was over an hour long. So I decided to break the video into 2 parts. So stay tuned for the demo and I appreciate you watching. Thank you. Came out with 4 palettes recently, and they are available now on Sephora.com and shophudabeauty.com, and they are the Precious Stone collection. I decided to pick up the Sapphire and Ruby palettes, and here they are here. These cute little guys. I do like the little mini style palettes. I'm not opposed to it. These retail for $27 each, and I mean, they're just cute, they're compact, they're light, you could just throw it in your bag. Some people were complaining that it wasn't maybe not the same amount of product, or it didn't look like the same amount of product as compared to her other palettes. She has the, right here we're talking about like the Desert Dusk palette, and this palette, you got this big guy right here, but actually the pan sizes are the same. It's just compressed. And it's in these little mini guys, and I do like that you could just throw it in your bag and go, and you have a nice variety of shades that you can just go with, and it doesn't take up a lot of room in your collection. So like I said, these retail for $27 a piece, and they are available now. So we're going to do a demo. I'm wearing the Sapphire palette right now, and then you're going to see the demo for the Ruby Obsessions. So let's go ahead and get into it, and just stay tuned for the demos, please. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the demo of the Huda Beauty Sapphire little mini palette right here, and this is the Sapphire Obsessions. This is also part of the Gemstone collection that just released. And then here are the shades. Sorry, I don't want to blind you with that mirror. Right here. So this particular palette, it doesn't really provide a crease color, so I'm not exactly, or a neutral crease color I should say. I'm not sure where I'm going with this look, but we shall see. I am already primed my eyelids, or my eyes, as you can see with the Color Pop. This is a 00 Fair concealer right here. As you can see, it might be a little bright. Okay, and I just spread that across the eyelids. I'm just going to kind of tap it over. I did not set the primer, so I want it to be tacky so it can really grab on to my shadows. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start with this yellow color. I'm going to see right here. I'm using a Pro Sephora brush, and this is the crease brush I normally used. Go ahead and dip into that shade right there. It seems like it's picking up pretty well. You might be able to see it a little bit right there. And there's actually no kick up in the pan. I know that's important to a lot of people, that these shadows don't kick up in the pan. And I'm just going to go back and forth in this little crease transition area right underneath my brow bone. Okay, I don't think, let's try it again. I think it's showing up. Just double checking the mirror. Okay, I'm taking more on my brush. It's like barely showing up, and that's very odd. I have a white base, so especially when you use colors like this, if you have a white base, the white base should intensify that shadow, make it pop more so it's being able to see. Unlike using a base that's my color that would more subdue the color, or using an eyeshadow base that's darker, then it would make the color look darker. But as you see, it's like barely. Anything coming off on my brush. Okay. Well, this is what happens sometimes when you try out new eyeshadow palettes, and that's what I'm here for, to demo this so you can see if you want to go ahead and purchase it. So, let's see. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to find us a little color, because the only thing is I would start off with this blue shade. Sorry, I dropped my little color wheel switch thing. I would start off with this shade, but I don't want to bring it too top to the brow. I don't mind it being here, but I don't want to have something that blue right here underneath the arch of my eyebrow. That would be just too far up. So I need to have something that transitions. And 1 second. Okay, so we can just kind of keep it all in the same family. I'm going to go ahead and take the Huda Beauty. This is the Desert Dust palette. And it looks like this. I'm sure most of everybody has probably seen that palette. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with, I'm going to take the shade Desert Sand right here. It's a light taupey color. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the color, probably Eden. I like to use those two colors together. And then I'll go in with the little Sapphire palette. But that yellow is not showing up. And it looks kind of muddy. I don't know. I do not know. I don't know. But this is going on. So we're going to go there. We're going to see what we get. The shadows usually don't have so much cake up. I did kind of dig my brush into that one. Back and forth. And when you have these white primers, you want to kind of make sure you don't have like these stark colors where you can kind of see the color. You want the color to be seen, but you don't want the white primer to be seen. I don't know. I definitely didn't want to bring blue all the way up to my brow bone. You need like a nice little gradient, nice little fade. Okay, I'm just going to take my brush, swirl it around in my little color switch. Clean that brush off. Then I'm going to go ahead and take Eden, a little bit more of a peach shade. The shade looks kind of similar to one in the Ruby Obsessions. Okay, so that one, I'm sure you guys can see, this particular shade is picking up. And it's going to look a little different. I'm going to kind of blend that into that first shade. Okay, so now we got something down. We're there. Hopefully you can see it. And then, okay, now we're going to jump into the Sapphire palette. Okay. So let's go in with this particular shade right here. These shades actually don't have names. It's just a 9-pan layout. So I'm just going to take this shade right here. I'm going to use that same brush. I'm going to blend it on top of that peach shade that we used before. And tap off the excess. Okay. This is a pretty interesting matte shade. I'm trying to think, do I have something like this in my collection? I don't know. Let me know if one day you guys want to see a collection video from me. I have quite a bit of eyeshadow palettes down there. I know I'm new to the YouTube world, but trust me, homegirl has plenty of makeup. And I'm just repeating the same steps on the other eye, and I'm bringing it up towards this top brow bone. Going back and forth till I get the color how I kind of want it. Going back on the other eye, decided I want to intensify it some more here. That color's picking up pretty nicely. It's okay. I know teals and blues are much harder to formulate, but it's kind of upsetting that this chartreuse color, or yeah, is that chartreuse? Yeah, this kind of yellow neon color did not pick up. And the shadow is buildable, so I think I can live with that. But as I can see right now, I think the mattes and the Ruby Obsessions, they perform better. And I used basically almost, well, not almost every shade, but I used the majority of the matte shades and everything picked up. So I have that down. I'm going to stop with that color for the moment. And then I'm going to take this blue shade right here, I believe. And then I'm just going to, let's see. I'm going to pick it up. I have this little Sephora magnetic brush. And this was a set. These brushes are actually pretty nice and soft. I think I've mentioned it before, especially for the price point. I think this brush was around $8. And look, they're like magnetic. They just pop on. So it actually comes with a magnetic case that you can buy, or like a magnetic sheet. You can stick all the brushes that have the same type of material on there, but I just store it with my other brushes. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up this shade right here. And I'm just going to kind of tap out the excess. Oh, it's pretty pigmented. And there's no kickback on this palette, if you can see. No kickback. Don't want to blind you all. And I'm just going to kind of lift my eyebrows up, because if you notice, I kind of have extra, my skin kind of overlaps here, so my eyelids are kind of like a little hooded. So I'm just going to kind of raise my brows up. That's the trick. So to make sure the color actually gets in the crease and it doesn't go above this area right here where the first shade is, and just so that it's there. And I'm just going to kind of go back and forth. And apply it again. I'm just going to pat it. And by patting it, I'm building up my pigmentation versus just spreading all the color out. Pat it, and then I'll kind of go ahead and blend lightly. It's buildable. I mean, sometimes you do want buildable shades. You don't want every shade to go in. Well, you know, as soon as you put the brush in and you tap it, it's like boom, pigment. But hey, I don't know. That outer corner right here doesn't look too bad. I didn't put too much color right here. Like I said, I still don't know where I'm going with this look. We're just here. We're playing. We're seeing how it performs. Now, it might look a little patchy right here, but honestly, I think that is my error, because a lot of times my primer will stick right here when I blend it out, and I kind of have to take my finger to smooth it out. And I didn't right there. I took it right here, but then before I was preparing to do the demo, I kind of let the primer set, and I needed to smooth it back out. So it might look a tiny bit patchy right here. I don't know if you can see it, but that's for me. Like I said, I'm just kind of lifting that brow up, making sure that there's color in there. And you have like the same type of eyelids as I do, where it kind of hangs up. I always like lift your eyes up, because you can tell where there's shadow and there's not shadow, because your eyelids will deceive you. If you do like this, you'll think that you have shadow, but then when you like look up, or you make a facial expression or look down, you'll have like all of this that doesn't have shadow. So kind of lift up sometimes. Okay. I think I'm going to go back with that first brush. And I'm going to take, let's see, I have this Juvia's Place brush right here. It doesn't have a name on there. But I'm going to go back with that first shade. And I'm just going to kind of blend this back over here. Just because I kind of lost some of that color. I'm really trying to think if I have like a matte shade this color. I probably do, knowing myself. I probably just can't think as to what it is at the moment. Okay, what do I want to do next? Okay, I think I'm going to create a little bit more depth right there, and I'm going to go ahead and take this Sigma small taper blending brush, and I'm going to take this shade because I kind of want to test out as many colors as I can. And I'm just going to place it right here at the corner of my eyelid. Well, you can see the difference between that navy and then that royal blue matte shade. Okay, and I think I'm so confused as to where I want to go. I think I might do somewhat of a halo look. I'm going to put this navy blue shade right in here. And I'm going to add it to this little spot right here where I was blending that first royal matte blue shade. I don't have any color. There. Turn it on. And then I'm going to kind of blend in between to connect the two blues together. So now I kind of got it how I like it. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to test out my little favorite Tarte brush. This one right here from this long ago unicorn. You see this? You see the little unicorn handle. And I'm going to pick up, let's pick up this blue shade right here. And it picks up not too bad on the brush, and still no fallout. I'm just going to pat it in between. I want to see how the color is first without wetting it. These shimmer shades are a little stickier. They're not, it's hard to say, they're not like creamy or they're not like really smooth, but they're kind of like a sticky formula. If I can kind of compare it, it kind of reminds me of the shimmers that were in the Anastasia, what was it, the Prism palette and the Anastasia Subculture, that little duochrome shade that they had. Yeah, you know, I don't know, Prism did better than Subculture. Poor Subculture. And I'm going to bring it up right here only because my skin folds so you can see it when I look directly ahead. It doesn't pick up too bad without anything. It definitely adds something to the center. Okay. And then let's try to wet it. I just want to see and show you guys and see how it looks when I wet the shadow. Maybe I should unlock my Fix Plus first. And I'm just going to go ahead and spray it. And I'm going to kind of wave it just a little bit. So it's not just chunky. I'm sorry if you hear me and all of that stuff. I have terrible allergies. Terrible allergies. I'm just sorry. You'll probably hear me say that in all the videos. And you'll probably think, well, it's not summer anymore. I have year-round, unfortunately. And I take medicine, but I was just sitting outside, having a meal outside, and it just kind of kicked up that little mucus production. Okay, so, oh, I kind of like it. Oh, I like it. It gives it a nice little shift. Okay, okay. All right. That's not too bad. And then I'm just going to clean that brush off. And then, let's see. I'm going to go back in with that little Juvia's Place brush. Keep the same brush. I'm going to take this, that navy blue matte. Again, I'm just going to put some more right there where I lost some of that shade from putting this little turquoise shimmer shade in here. Right there. Okay, so like I said, I'm just adding more of the blue shade right here on this inner corner where we kind of lost some. Okay, and then now I'm going to take, I have this little Sephora glitter liner that I was showing in the other demo. Oh, it's still dirty. Let's wipe that off. It still has the like ruby palette on there. Let's give it a good little clean off. And these are so easy to clean off. All you got to do is just like clean it off with either a makeup wipe or a little towel. Okay. Liner, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up this silver shade. Then I'm going to go ahead and place a little bit in the inner corner. Oh, that's pretty. Kind of open it up. That's pretty. Okay, and then let's see. I think we're gonna go ahead and try to take this shade right here, just so we can kind of test out most of the shades. I'm gonna use that same Sephora glitter liner, and I'm gonna put some on each side of this little turquoise shimmer. Just kind of layer it here, give it a little more extra dimension. I'm gonna take a little bit more. Okay, it might be subtle, but I definitely see it in somebody's up close. You could definitely see it right there. Okay, so we still have this shade and this shade to use. Okay, so I think I'm going to do those on my bottom line. So I'm going to do the other eye real quick. Okay, so I'm back and I got the other eye on, and I put a little concealer, my Born to Run concealer by Too Faced in the color Butterscotch underneath my eyes just a little bit, and I powdered it down a little bit with my Maybelline Fit Me powder in medium. So let's go ahead and work on the lower lash line. I'm going to take my small little Tarte brush again. I love this brush. Like, went from like not using it to loving it, but it's small. I like it. It can get in the little corners, so you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm gonna go ahead, we're gonna go ahead and take this color right here because we have not used it, and I'm gonna, instead of swiping down this way, because we're gonna put it on the lower lash line, we're going to go into the shade this way. That way it's just at the tip of the brush, and we have better control when we get ready to go put it underneath our lower lash line. And I'm just going to hold my eyelid just a little bit, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and use my ring finger because that one has like the least amount of pressure. And it's pretty. pick up a tiny bit more. And I didn't even have to spray that, so that's not bad. Okay. And then I'm going to wipe that brush off. And then I'm going to go in with this shade up here. Now these two shades, this one and this one, they're not as sticky in consistency as these two. And I'm just going to go ahead and marry those two colors together. Kind of blend it in the middle where they meet. And I didn't have any fallout with this palette. So, I mean, I usually do all of my eye makeup first before I proceed to any face makeup. But if you're a person that likes to do, you know, their face makeup first and perfect their base and then move on to the eyes, you wouldn't have to really be worried about fallout with this palette, even though they're like such dark colors. I mean, unless you just really dig your brush in, but you should always just tap off the excess. Okay, so I'm liking where we are right now. Let's see. Like, part of me just really wants to like pick this color up and be like, can we see it? I'm just gonna give it like one more good heave ho. Maybe if I like kind of change the brush, I'll get a little bit more action. I don't know. I'm gonna take this airbrush crease brush by Sephora. I'm gonna stick a little in. Oh shoot, wait, I cross-contaminated the shades. I'm gonna wipe this shade off. Oh. So you can just come on here and see like the makeup process is not always easy. Things go wrong. Let me make sure I wipe my brush off. That's the only thing you kind of have to worry about with these palettes. You know, they're so compact, like dipping it. And this is the only light shade. So if you're not kind of careful with your makeup, you're going to be doing a lot. Cross-contaminating. Let's see if we can get this to show up. I mean, something's going on, but yeah. I just feel like it kind of made it muddier on this side. Yeah. Oh well, this shade, that's a no for me. That shade is a no. However, okay. The rest of the look is nice, so we're just going to keep trucking along. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my Cause I'm Black liner by Fenty Beauty right here. I love this packaging. It's so nice. It's like kind of heavy. I like it. And I'm going to go ahead and do my wing liner. And sorry, I can't talk during this process. I must be still. You know, struggle with liner. Kind of make this one a little bit more up, so I just kind of corrected it a little bit. And you can always go ahead and take a little concealer and just kind of clean that line up. And I prefer to do this, like take a little bit off the wand right here. And this is the Too Faced concealer again. And I have an Anastasia 18 brush. Just take a tiny bit. I mean, this concealer, like a little goes a long way. And I'm just going to kind of go right here. Give that line a bit of a lift. I'm going to do it right here on the thing. It's really like, kind of like an eraser. Okay, so now that I got it on, you want to go ahead and pat it out. You just don't want to like leave it there. And if you don't have your concealer on already, you can always take like a makeup wipe and just wipe up. And now I'm just like kind of blending that concealer in. Right there. And see, that helped the line make a little. Then because I put that color, you know, this little color, this little guy right here, that does nothing, that kind of ruined the look. I felt like it made it pretty muddy right there. I'm just going to take that brush and kind of bring the concealer over right here. And if you blend too high, you can just take your concealer and just kind of fix the shape of your eyeshadow. I would just make sure you use a concealer that's like your skin color. You don't want to go too stark. Okay. Okay, so now we've seen the demo, so let's get into my first initial impressions of the palettes. Now this one, the Sapphire, I like it. Like, I have a look on now. You know, I did just show you the demo. I had it on in the beginning of the video. I do like this palette. I mean, the color scheme is pretty. The look I came up with was pretty. However, this shade right here, nope, no, and no. It does not even show up at all. And when I actually think about this palette, it's pretty. The colors are pretty. But it's really not even unique to my collection. Initially, this was the first palette I wanted. But then I saw the swatches for this one. And I was like, no, I think I like that ruby. So I'm going to get both of them. But initially, this is what attracted me. And then now that I think about it and I use the palette, I'm like, this particular palette is not really unique to my collection. Okay, so let me show you why. So I have these three palettes to show you right here. Excuse me. These allergies are going to be death for me. So you have the Afrique. Okay, the little plastic thing fell out. So you have the Afrique palette right here. This is by Juvia's Place. And so if you look at this particular palette right here, we have a blue matte. We have a more of a blue dual cream shimmer. And then you have Aya right here. And Aya, it's more of a, it's kind of like the similar shade as this one. It's very similar. So we're already talking about like 3 shades that I have that are in this palette. Remember, this is only 9 shades, okay? So I have 3 shades right here. This one performs. So I'm going to just take it with my finger. As you can see, it's right here on my finger. And then I'm going to go ahead, and I know finger swatches are not the best, but you guys can see it in my demo. This shade didn't even show up. And then when I went to try to, like, at the end, just see if we can get it to pop a little bit more, the only thing it did was just kind of muddy up the color right there. So take my other finger. Remember these shadows right here with the Huda, they don't have names. So this is the Juvia's Place. This is the Huda. Go ahead and swatch it on my hand. I have the Huda. Like, it shows, it's chalky, but when I pick it up on the brush, as you guys saw, it didn't show up anything. And then look at this. The difference is obvious. This is more pigmented. But you know, finger swatches don't really show, but the proof was in the pudding when I get ready to blend it in. Nothing showed up. Like, literally nothing. Nothing. Like, I just knew I wanted to use that as my first transition shade. Nothing showed up. I had to actually go in to the Huda palette right here just because I wanted to keep it in the same family and use these 3 shades, well, not musk, but these 2 shades right here as a transition shade. Because even if you think about it, there is nothing really that you can put right in this little area right up here by the brow bone other than this color right here. So you could start with this, but more likely, even if we have an all blue look, I have an all blue look, like hardly any browns. Like the palette I use right here, it was barely brown, you know. It was like desert sand, something a little bit closer to my complexion. This is Eden, just, you know, a little peach, but it's still close to my complexion, excuse me. But normally you don't want to go in right here with this particular shade and have it all the way at your brow bone. Like, that's I mean, if you want to, fine. But it's not really cute. And that's not the vibe I was getting, you know. I wanted to have like a gradual progression. Now, was I able to build up the rest of these shades? Yes, I was. But this color, I feel like it's kind of hard. If this color is not performing, and maybe it'll perform on somebody else with a different complexion. But let's keep in mind, I used the ColourPop white concealer. So if you're using white concealer, there shouldn't be an issue. The shade should be able to show up. It shouldn't be an issue. And in the Afrique, I've used this palette before, and I've used this shade as like a transition shade. And it was fine. And it showed up with this same white concealer. Matter of fact, it actually showed up with my Urban Decay Caffeine Concealer. And it wasn't an issue. So, like, that's my only gripe. Because now, at this point, if this particular shade does not show up on you, you have to start here as a transition. Or maybe here, depending on what look you are. But you're going to have to reach in for another palette to complete your look. Now, I don't have a problem with reaching in to complete my look. But if this is all you have and you're grabbing these for the sole purpose of just using this as your staple palette, or if you take it with you out of town and travel with it, you're going to be in a little bit of danger zone because you don't have anything to kind of start off your look. Not to mention I used a white primer, so it wasn't like I could just leave white up here. I had to go in with something else. So just to cover up that primer, because on my skin complexion, the white was very stark, as you can see when I started off the video. However, so we talked about, compared to the Afrique, I have like 3 colors right here, because that matte blue is definitely in that shade, in that palette right here. I have several other palettes that have a blue one right here. But let's talk about if you picked up the ColourPop Mar palette right here. Now this one does have some browns in here, but just open it up. You know, this palette retail for like, what, $12 from ColourPop? You got like the same other blue right here. You got more of a navy blue. It's kind of hard to hold both. So this particular shade right here, sorry, you can probably see my ring light. This particular shade where my fingers going in, is similar to, it's similar to this shade. It's similar to this shade, even though this one is more of a satin shimmer shade finish. So then you have that. Then you have this particular shade right here. This one and this one are definitely pretty similar. So like if I take the ColourPop palette from Mar right here, and that shade in the middle is called Gridlock. Then let's go ahead and take this particular shade right here in the corner. Palettes don't have a name. They look pretty similar. I believe this one's the ColourPop one. See, I'm confused. I mean, one has a little different of a shift to it, a little bit more turquoise. But when I'm looking at it, even in my mirror right here, at the end of the day, these are the same shades. Like, you can't really deny it. Like, it's just, you know, those are the same shades. Nobody's gonna be like, no, that one, that's the Huda Beauty one versus the Mar. Nobody's gonna see that shift. It's very similar to color. So see, you have that. And then now this palette, they do have a lot of browns right here, but you have this little pop of light color right here. Now this one and the other color, of course, is very light, so it's not gonna be the same. I'm just talking about an option. And I'm just talking about if you happen to have the Afrique or the Mar, you might think twice. You don't have all the mattes in the Mar except for this one blue one, but you kind of have half of them in Afrique, so I like already have a good majority of the palette. It's only 9 shades. And when I look at my look, I mean, it's very pretty, but I basically created the same look when I used this Mar palette this summer, except for it might have been just a little lighter. Okay, so then what if you have the Juvia's Place Masquerade palette right here? You got all these pretty blue shimmer shades up here. Now, you don't have any mattes, but most people kind of buy some of these palettes for just the sparkly shades right here. But this one has more of a blue purple shift to it, so I won't show these. But then you have these two. So you got this one right here. There's Juvia's Place. There's Dahlia, and this is the Masquerade palette. And then it's like a balancing act over here, guys. So you have this particular shade right here. So the Juvia's Place is a little bit more richer, and then you have this one right here. Okay, I ran out of like hand room, so I'm gonna swatch them here. Very similar. So this one is the one from Huda Beauty, and this one's the one from Juvia's Place. This one's a hair lighter. Just a hair. Not much. Not much at all. So, you know, I was really trying to figure out if I had a matte shade like this. Aqua color. It's pretty. I really don't think I do. And give me 1 second. Let's see. Okay. So I do have the Zulu palette here from Juvia's Place. And you have this kind of teal color, but these two are not dupes for it. If you, as you can see right here, you have this particular shade right here, and then you got this particular shade. They're really not dupes. Okay. But like I said, this is just a nice shade palette. So, you know, that really just kind of disappointed me that I couldn't even use this particular shade. And then when I thought about it, I'm like, why am I even upset? I have that other shade in that Afrique palette. But it is upsetting. If you don't have the Afrique palette, you know, you're going to be upset that you don't have that particular shade. I mean, nobody wants it to be just like a complete dud. Not to mention, if you don't have the Juvia's Place palette, you're going to automatically have to start your eyeshadow look out with another color. And you don't have that little brightening color. Now, you do have the silver sparkle, but most people have a silver shadow. That's nothing new to the game. So, I mean, overall, I think it's very pretty. But like I said, if you have any of these palettes, if you're just looking for these pop of blues, but you already have, like, the Masquerade palette, you have the Soul palette. I'm sorry, not the Soul palette. The Soul palette is cute. But if you have the Mar palette, which is, you have the Mar palette by ColourPop. And then you have the Afrique palette. And you, like, I didn't need this palette. And not to mention that one shade didn't work. But I have something very, very similar in the Afrique palette. So, I mean, do I feel like it's a complete dud? No. I think it's beautiful. It's definitely like more of like an accent palette to your collection if you don't have those shades. If you just want to take a look at, I don't feel like it's a complete waste. But that one particular shade not working just was kind of like, ugh, to me. I mean, I had to literally pull in from another shade, and that's like the only shade that you can go in as some type of transition. Now, you could do a blue and you could blend it out beautifully, but a lot of people, sometimes they don't want to. So, you know, it's just kind of like a personal preference there. And maybe it was on my complexion. I'm not exactly sure, but, you know, it's just something to think about. Okay, hey guys, it's Ashley again. Thank you for watching so much, and stay tuned for my next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.